Hi, my name is Nasha, and today I'm going to share with you my research and thoughts about animal extinction and how we can protect the animals that are still alive today. I was born in Kenya and spent the first 9 years of my life in Africa. I went to the savannah almost every day before turning 4. I loved looking out the window of our Jeep and seeing all the animals. However, at that time, I didn't realize that most of the animals I was seeing were threatened. It was not until years later that I learned about what was happening. We are now living in the 6th mass extinction. We lose about 150 to 200 species every day. We humans are the main cause for this extinction. The International Union for Conservation of Nature has created a red list of threatened species. These are the categories of that list. First comes LC, meaning least concern. Then comes NT, meaning near threatened. After that comes VU, meaning vulnerable. Then comes EN, endangered. After that comes CR, meaning critically endangered. Second last comes EW, meaning extinct in the wild. And last comes EX, meaning extinct. With that in mind, let's have a look at some of the gorgeous animals I saw almost every day. The African elephant. Many of you know this one. This animal is vulnerable. Vulnerable is the stage before endangered. The number of African forest elephants has dropped by 86% over a 31-year period, with the population of African savanna elephants decreasing by 60% over a 50-year period. This here is a cheetah, and this one too is vulnerable. Fewer than 8,000 African cheetahs are living in the wild today. Last one here is the lion, and yes, this one too is vulnerable. The lion population in Africa has decreased by 90% in the last century. There are, of course, problems causing this, and this one is not all intentional. This is the problem of too much plastic. Anyone excited? I, for one, am not. This is a picture of plastic soup. It is happening in the ocean and is affecting wildlife in a negative way. An example is that it tricks marine animals into thinking that it is food. Of course, they eat it. However, their system gets clogged because they cannot digest it. As a result, they die. We never planned this, but this is something that will take a long time to clean up. Here you see what misery the plastic soup is causing. This is a heartbreaking picture of a sea turtle that could not escape its net on time. This is a picture of a manta ray just swimming through plastic, but it can't get away. Would you like to swim through plastic? I know I wouldn't. Last one here is a turtle reshaped by plastic. Is it not crazy how plastic totally changes their lives? But we just leave these creatures with no choice. An example is the mangrove horseshoe crab. I have a connection to this because I saved 8 horseshoe crabs from a fishing net close to the Langat River. We went to a beach and I expected, well, a beach that is clean and nice to be on. When we arrived, I looked at it from a distance and it looked welcoming. However, when we were ready to go to the water, which meant climbing over the rocks, I realized how wrong I was. There was trash everywhere. It was on the rocks, in the spaces between the rocks, even in the trees. It contained plastic bottles, clay pots, cloth, toothbrushes, and much more. But the thing that disturbed me most were the fishing nets. They were everywhere. When I was ready to go back into the water, I stumbled against another fishing net. This one, however, was filled with animals. At first I thought they were all dead, but I was wrong. Again, these horseshoe crabs were still alive. My parents started cutting them free, and we ended up saving half of the trapped horseshoe crabs. Another problem that contributes to this 6th mass extinction is the problem of invasive species. This problem also has a huge impact on wildlife. Invasive species are introduced by humans or by human actions, not always on purpose though. In Australia, there is an invasive species that has become a big problem. If an animal is introduced to a balanced environment, it can totally break the balance between food chains. This is a picture of a food chain kept in balance by all the living organisms. But if a species that is not native to the ecosystem enters in a way, the whole ecosystem collapses. And if that happens, the stage is cleared for more invasive species. This can easily lead to more problems for the animals already living there. In the long run, even extinction. This is happening in Australia. The invasive species is the European rabbit. The rabbit invaded Australia simply because a female rabbit can give birth to 30 babies at one time. In 1859, the rabbits were introduced so they could be hunted. Thomas Austin, a rich settler in Victoria, Australia, had 13 European rabbits shipped to him, When they arrived, he let them roam free on his land. In Europe, these rabbits are kept in balance by their natural predators. In Australia, they have no natural predators. As a result, they threw the ecosystem off balance. They also became a big problem because they eat non-stop, and with them eating all the plants edible to them, they're changing the food chain rapidly. In fact, they are so bad that they are called the Australian nightmare. Luckily, not all hope is lost. In fact, there are a lot of countries that have become aware of the current problems and have changed their laws to stop what has been happening. A few examples are South Africa, Uganda, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. South Africa has been standing up for its rhinos. In order to take a horn from a rhino, poachers just saw it off and leave the rhino to fend for itself. This is what horror looks like. 1,175 horns were taken from rhinos in 2015. 1,028 horns were taken from rhinos in 2017, and finally, 594 horns were taken from rhinos in 2019. South Africa made sure that the number of horns taken lowered over the years by starting awareness campaigns, relocating rhinos, stopping poachers, and thinking of new laws. The other two countries I named were Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. These two countries, along with Rwanda, have decided to stand up for their mountain gorillas. I found that Rwanda started protecting its gorillas by raising awareness and stopping poachers. To show this, I have found that in 1981, 254 gorillas were left in the wild. In 2003, 380 gorillas were left. In 2010, 486 gorillas were left. And in 2018, 1,063 gorillas were left. The numbers have risen a lot over the years, and this shows that people are not just ignoring what is happening. But is there a way you can help make Earth a safer place for animals again? Yes, there is. There are many ways. You could, for example, eat less meat. Why? Because less meat equals less cattle, and less cattle equals less land needed by farmers, and that leaves more space for the jungle to grow. Another thing you can do is reduce the use of plastic. Do you really need a straw while drinking out of a cup? I don't think so. And bring your own bags to the supermarket. We should recycle more so that our waste doesn't end up in rivers, lakes, or oceans. We should stop deforestation. We could, for example, find alternatives to palm oil, which is responsible for deforestation in Malaysia and Indonesia. Another thing you can do is use less energy. You can change your light bulbs to energy-saving bulbs, and use your car less. Walk and cycle more. It's good for the environment and it's good for you. Get out of the car and stretch your legs. These may all be little steps, but think about it. If 30 people start doing this, it will help a lot more than you would expect. Together we can make a difference. If we act too late, though, there's no turning back. This is not a topic that you could shrug off. This is happening now and will happen tomorrow. You may think, but there are other people out there that will do it for me. Yes, you are right. When it's finally your turn, you could be too late. After all, as the Austrian band Runer May put it, and what is lost and gone forever. Thank you.